Hi there, this trap in the Owens defence is called Owning the Owens, and the opening e4, b6, the Owens defence, is named after an English vicar and amateur player of the 19th century, John Owen, and although a dubious opening, he still used it to defeat the great Paul Morphy in London in 1858. So e4 and b6, d4, bishop b7, bishop d3. Black wants to make something happen along this diagonal, but it comes at a price. f5 tries to pry open the diagonal, but white need not fear and can take on f5, allowing bishop takes on g2, because white gets queen h5 in check. Black's going to have to interpose with g6. After f takes on g6, black has to be careful, not knight f6, because that's a mating trap with g takes on h7, discovered check, giving up the queen, because after knight takes h5, bishop g6 is checkmate. So black's going to play bishop g7 instead. Still g takes h7 check, sends the king sliding over to f8, and now white tries knight f3. So black has several options here, all very dangerous. The first, bishop takes f3, queen recaptures, queen takes on f3, and that's a fork, the king and the rook on a8, which is going to drop after knight f6 and queen takes a8. That's winning for white. So knight takes on bishop takes f3 is not going to happen. If knight f6, then the queen's being hit, queen g6 in turn, hitting the bishop on g2, and that's going to take one of the pieces, either the rook on h1 or the knight on f3. If bishop takes on h1, then bishop h6 is going to be winning for white. If bishop takes on h6, queen takes h6, king's going to go to f7, but knight g5 sends the king back to e8, where he can get mated with bishop to g6. Also, instead of bishop takes on h6, if instead rook takes on h7, then knight g5 again is going to be decisive. So bishop takes on h1 isn't good for black. How about bishop takes on f3? Well, then rook g1 threatens queen takes g7, which is going to be a mating attack. So rook takes on h7 saves the mate, but again at a cost. Queen back to g3, hitting that bishop and releasing the bishop on d3, hitting the rook on h7. Black can try to defend by bishop to e4, both bases covered, but bishop takes e4 and knight takes on e4 allows queen f3 check, because when the knight drops back to interpose on f6, queen takes a8 again, so that's going to be winning. So going back to this position here, bishop takes on h1, that's the move that black's going to play. Instead, we've looked at bishop takes on f3, and we've looked at knight to f6. So we're looking now at bishop takes on h1 on move 8. That's going to allow white to play knight e5 with a mate threat on f7, because now after bishop takes on e5, d takes on e5, queen e8, begging to swap off queens, but white gets bishop h6 check in, forcing knight takes h6, queen takes h6, and after king f7, well, white could have won in a number of ways. Bishop g6 automatically looks good, but this is in fact better. Bishop c4, because after now d5, then a nice mate with a pawn, e6 is checkmate. So this has been a trap in the Owens defense. It's called Owning the Owens. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.